It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty. But what it was a victory for your San Francisco 49ers. Lots to sort out, and we'll do it next. What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Gold Standard Instant Reaction Podcast, part of the Pro Football Insiders. I'm Rob Stats Guerrero. Levin Black is going to hop in and join us in a minute. Your San Francisco 49ers. It wasn't perfect, and it sure as hell wasn't pretty, but it is a victory, and it is victory number 8 for your 49ers in 12 games this season. I know how a lot of you are feeling, and I'm feeling it too. We got a lot to discuss with Brock Purdy, and we will get to all of it, I promise you. But first, Mr. Levin Black, as you join me here, can we just acknowledge that at least with everything we have to discuss, it was a victory?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's positive. This game, I think, was the most important game left on the schedule. And that was because if they lost this game, not only do the Panthers pass them and have the tiebreaker for a wild card, which would be massive, but it would also mean the Green Bay and Chicago go a game up on the 49ers, and the Lions also pass the 49ers, although not a game up, only a half game. But because of all of that, this loss would have been huge. They can lose. They got 3 games against AFC teams. They can lose those. Right now, the Niners have the best record against the NFC at 8-2. No other team is that good. So they own the first tiebreak for wild card. So this game was massive for that. And when you look at the remaining schedule of the other teams that are now in it, because you can kind of eliminate the Panthers in terms of in contention to take a wild card from the 49ers. Highly unlikely. So now it's just the NFC North. Well, they all play each other. Plus, the Bears have Philly this week while the Lions and Green Bay play. So, like, the chance that the 49ers get in the playoffs, I think, goes to 90+% with this win. This win was massive.
It was a huge win, and if they lost to the Panthers, they'd be competing for the wild card spot with the Panthers and the Bucs, and both of those teams would have the tiebreaker over the Niners. So it was a win they had to get. And look, we can talk about Brock Purdy, and we're going to talk about him in a second. Apparently, Juwan Jennings got into a fight. I actually didn't see that because I was moving down here. People are saying
I didn't see that either. I did see that right before the 4th down play. He went off the field pissed, holding his tender region. Looked like he'd gotten hit there. So I don't know if he thinks somebody took a cheap shot on him and he got revenge after the game or what.
Okay. So we'll deal with that. I will say this. Apparently everything I know about football is wrong, Levin. Because I came into this one, what do we say? The offense has to lead the charge. The offense is going to roll because they can put up points on anybody. This defense cannot stop anybody. They don't get turnovers. If the 49ers rely on their defense and their kicking, they are going to lose. So what happens in this game? Brock Purdy throws 3 interceptions. The Panthers only get 3 points off of those turnovers, even though 2 of those turnovers were in the 49ers side of the field, which is incredible. Matt Gay doesn't miss a kick at all. The special teams contributes again. And Jair Brown gets not 1, but 2 interceptions, 1 in the end zone. Second straight game with multiple turnovers forced by Robert Saleh's defense. Everything I know about football is wrong.
I mean, it was a great defensive game. I think Carolina offensive game plan was just terrible.
Awful. Yes.
Dowdle got, I think, 6 carries in the game. Like, you weren't down double digits until late. Dowdle should have been where you led first because you then tire out the defensive line. You tire out the linebackers. Now you start gashing them with the passing game. But late in the 4th quarter, the last time I looked, they had 24 passes to 6 rushes for Dowdle. Like, that's just a terrible game. I think they saw the game last week and thought, we can pass on these guys. We're just going to come out and pass for 400+ yards again. And I think that was just a mistake because Bryce Young ain't it. Like, he's a borderline backup quarterback, let alone a starter.
It was a putrid game plan for Carolina. I want to talk about that in a second. Andrea Curtis, 2558, new YouTube channel member. Thank you, Andrew. You get a fist pump for that. We appreciate all our members. If you want to become one, it's less than $3 a month. Con JKJ says it's clear Kyle's game plan changed after Purdy's picks, more play action, shorter passes. I will tell you the change in this game that changed everything. It was one change, and everything was different after that. And it was me switching my pen for 49ers notes. I went from green to black. And once I changed to black, we didn't have any more turnovers. We were scoring touchdowns. So I just want to take credit. You're welcome, everybody. I did my part. I'm sure you did too out there. But no, really the change was this. And we saw Kyle go into an absolute shell. It was the Jimmy Garoppolo game plan all over again because Brock was playing like Jimmy. If you notice, after the third interception, he said, Brock, we're throwing short, and everything was outside the numbers. Nothing was in the middle of the field. It was all outside the numbers to the sideline, boot to the sideline, roll out, throws in the flat, nothing in the middle of the field. Kyle completely changed the game plan because he was scared of his quarterback.
One, you should have started with black ink because black is beautiful, especially me. Two,
God.
Okay. Please thank my dad for these. He's got all kinds of dad jokes revolving around the last name. But I think that they had that game plan from the start. That's what they did in the first drive. They went down and they had a 9-minute drive where there weren't long throws. There were a bunch of dump offs to Christian McCaffrey. I think he had
9 touches
receptions or something. Yeah, 9 touches, but I think he had 4 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
That was the game plan from the start. Then Brock started feeling himself, and they came out for the second drive and the third drive, and he was, I'm not dinking and dunking. I'm going deep on these guys, and they just didn't need it. And I think that, if I had to guess, was the message. Like, Brock, we don't need 20 yards. We can get 5 to 10 yards on these guys every single play. Just take that, and we win.
It was comically bad from Brock Purdy. It was so bad. Gabe Garoni says, sorry, they changed the names. So if I call you something that I haven't usually changed, StreamYard has changed the display names. It's weird. But Gabe Garoni says, anyone get Purdy versus Lamar from 2 years ago vibes? It felt very much like that Monday Night Football game. He just kept turning the football over. And here's the thing. And Kyle said it at halftime, and I thought it was hilarious. He was like, well, except for those 3 picks, he's playing pretty well. The decisions from Brock, the first decision was a little sketchy. The one to Pearsall is open, and it's not a risky throw. Brock just biffed it. He screwed it up. It was just a bad throw that was behind Pearsall. Pearsall is open, and you want to say the third one's a great play, whatever. Okay, fine. But here is the thing. I think Brock is not fully healthy, and I think we have seen when he is compromised in any way, he can't get enough mustard on the passes. They float and flutter. Anything over 15 yards took forever to get to the wide receiver. I really have to question whether or not he plays next week against Cleveland.
Yeah, he's playing. They're not going to play that game. But ironically, the second interception was because he put some mustard on it. Like, Pearsall's behind the DB. It's not a huge distance, but he was behind. If you put air under it, that's how you complete it. You got to get it over the DB, but he was on the run and he threw it with some mustard and didn't have enough arc on it to get over the DB. The other throws, like, I don't know why, but he's off. And I don't know if he's not trusting the foot or if he's actually hurt and he's trying to keep it a secret. But yeah, he's inaccurate when you get past 15 yards down the field. I mean, they showed the graphic at one point. I can't remember if it was before or after the third interception, but he has 1 touchdown to 6 interceptions when throwing 15 plus yards down the field this season. Like, something has changed because in 2023, he was the best quarterback in the league at throwing 15 plus yards down the field.
I think teams know they can bait him into throws, and his arm's not strong enough where they get beat. They know if they bait him, they're going to have time to recover. That's what I think. Modelo Time 1999 on Twitch. Shout out to all the Twitch members. Says, if Brock threw a 4th pick, I'm sure Parag and Jed would be looking to get rid of Brock's guarantees. Funny and true, probably. Sean Turner says, Rob's going to say JJ shouldn't react to a D punch. Ooh, okay. A punch in the D is a tough one not to react to, in fairness. The game was in hand for the 49ers, so it's not like it was in other cases with Juwan Jennings. I still think you should control yourself. You don't have to, rage out. I think it's possible to have someone make physical contact with you and for you to not see red and try to, start a fight. Like, it's possible. I know that some people think it isn't, but it is possible. Like, you don't,
it kind of,
no, it's not just, all bets are off. You're not responsible for anything that you do because someone made contact with you. Like, give me a break.
It's not making contact. So let's not call it what it isn't. It's not simply making contact. Somebody, hits you upside the head, something like that, where you have a helmet on. That's one thing. Yeah, you got to kind of keep your cool. But to me, getting spit on for sure and getting hit in the nuts, if it's not on accident, are ones that you want to do that, it's on. I don't care what's going on. I'm swinging back. Like, there's differences between a push, making contact. No, you don't react that way. But you hit me in the nuts or you spit on me, I'm going after you. But it depends on if it was on purpose. If it wasn't on purpose, then yeah, Jennings needs to just take it.
So I'm trying to see. I'm showing the clip, which we're now going to get demonetized for. It sure doesn't look accidental.
Yeah. No, that was a full-on punch, and he should be suspended too. That was 100%. And the fact that the ref runs in right there and saw it and didn't throw the penalty, that's why you get the second one. If you're not going to penalize a clear punch when you see it, expect a retaliation. But both players, I don't know. I haven't seen what Jennings did, but if he threw a punch, then yeah, both should be suspended by league rules.
You can't see a punch to the junk and not throw and run in, but not throw a flag. Like, what are you doing there, ref? Mike UA says 3 picks for Brock. Imagine if it was raining too. It might rain next week in Cleveland. BTL with Tony. Thank you for the super chat. Says, riddle me this. What was Kyle thinking not giving Horn anything better to do than freelance on the second pick? I don't think it was on Kyle. I think it was Horn and those guys probably saw on film that Brock's throws are taking a while to get there over the middle. And if you keep your head on a swivel and you don't have a lot of work, you can float back to some of these because Brock, again, has to throw with anticipation. He's anticipating you're going to continue with your man. I think it was a good observation on film and a good play by J.C. Horn.
I mean, a lot of the plays in this game were quarterbacks who were just inaccurate, causing an interception, or a DB breaking off and going to get the interception when you wouldn't necessarily expect it, because the interception in the end zone by Brown, he wasn't covering that receiver. He broke off. He was near the goal line and broke off to go get that interception. So, like, that's one, like, I don't really blame Bryce Young for that interception where Brown got it. And the other interception for Bryce Young, as they showed on the replay, the Niners got away with one because where he threw it, he would have been hitting his receiver in stride. I'm not sure it would have gotten completed because Brown would have been hitting him at the same time. So he might have broken it up, but that's why it got intercepted. Purdy, I think, had 2 interceptions that were because he couldn't throw accurately. And he had 1 interception that you could start to say, okay, maybe that one's not 100% on Purdy because it was good defensive game plan and a good defensive play by the player. But at the same time, like, he's got to know. And in that situation, they didn't need that throw.
I'm going to say, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think you might have to bench Brock. And here's why I'm going to say it. It's not because he threw 3 interceptions, because every quarterback has bad games. It's because Kyle was terrified of him. He was terrified. After Jair Brown gets that second interception, it was, oh my God, just hold out and run. And here's the thing. Brock was shook because he got a delay a game penalty. He had no idea how much time was left in the play clock. And we don't see that from Brock Purdy. He was out of it, and Kyle was furious. Why? Because it went from second down and 5 to second and 12. Or whatever. I can't do the 7. Second and 7 to second and 12. And Kyle was like, oh, crap. Now we can't get the first down running the ball. Kyle was terrified of his quarterback. And you can't be terrified of your own quarterback. I'm sorry. You just can't. Now, if Kyle's going to stick with Brock and say, hey, we think he's going to be fine and we're going to let him keep throwing, then okay. But you can't coach scared. And you certainly can't have that game plan that we saw in the second half, Levin, against better teams that are on the 49ers schedule down the stretch.
Well, that's part of the thing, right? It wasn't a better team. And it was very clear from the first quarter it was not a better team. So I think that was a big part of why Kyle kind of brought it in, reined everybody in, because they didn't need it. They never needed it in this game. Carolina was not going to win this game. Like, I don't know what game script Carolina could have won this game other than Brock throwing 5 or 6 interceptions.
They got it. They got the game script to win. They didn't take advantage of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, clearly they couldn't do anything offensively by trying to be a pass first team because Bryce Young sucks. So, like, what game script could they win? And if I'm Kyle, I think that was pretty clear, certainly by the second quarter, that, hey, as long as we don't F it up and hand them this win, we're winning this game, so let's go safe. Now, I think saying Brock should be benched going into next week is a massive overreaction. But I will say that Brock should 100% start. But if he has multiple interceptions that are because he's trying to force it down the field in the first half of Cleveland, then maybe I bench him. And it wouldn't be benched permanently for Mac. It would be, I'm benching you for this half to teach you, stop freaking forcing it down the field or you don't have a future in this league. Because if you just stop that from Brock, he's an excellent quarterback. That's the thing. Like, almost every single one of Brock's turnovers are, I'm forcing it 20 yards down the field.
Here's the thing. We say the same thing about Jameis Winston. If he could just stop throwing those interceptions, he'd be awesome. Guess what? He can't. And it doesn't look like Brock can right now. It really doesn't. And if it weren't for Robert Saleh's defense that had an incredible night and the fact that the Panthers offense is complete garbage and they didn't even want to throw the ball down the field except for one touchdown pass to Tet McMillan. Other than that, they barely even tried. The Niners could have lost this game. Batman29 says Mac would have lit this Carolina defense up, but I digress. Earlier,
I do think they would have scored more points with Mac in this game, but that's because this was a game that as long as they didn't force something, they were going to continue to move the ball and get points on every single drive. Carolina was not stopping the 49ers at all in this game, and the only thing that stopped the 49ers were turnovers and a penalty. Like, those were the only things that stopped the 49ers in this game. Was a penalty on the drive late in the game when they could have finished it, and turnovers in the first half.
Perfect Blackness. Earlier, Levin, you said black is beautiful. Perfect Blackness says, you're right, Levin. Black is beautiful. Appreciate the super chat on that one. Kyle York, another YouTube channel member. You wouldn't be related to Jed York, would you? I hope not, because if you are, you're not going to like things I've said about Jed. Sean Turner says, Levin gets it. Be a damn man. Cheers, guys. Yes, you must be a man. Your manliness is defined by how you react when someone hits you.
If another man touches my junk on purpose, a fist is coming for their face.
Yeah, great, but that doesn't make you a man, and it doesn't make you a man.
I wouldn't say it makes you a man, but that's the reality. So I don't blame Jennings in that scenario. He purposely got punched in the nuts. Expect a retaliation.
Well, first of all, I'm not saying you should be happy about it. He's going to be upset, but does that make you have to start a fight? No, he's choosing to start a fight. Orod23 says Brock was clearly the problem tonight. Yes, he was. Somebody better ask Kyle, did you consider benching him? Because it's a fair question to ask. Because you laid it out.
You'll act like it's the stupidest question in the world. You know his reaction. No, are you stupid?
Good. Yeah. Ask it anyway. I want him on the record.
You got to get him on the record.
Yep. But you said it. Like, they needed this game. Put aside all the Brock stuff, the ugliness, like, they needed this game if they're going to make the playoffs. So it's a fair question to ask. Chris Waddell says, all I know is I'm glad I'm not a gambler. Who took your picks this week? Yeah, we had a rough week. Side note, all those interceptions look like a product of lack of arm strength to me. Oh, I'm going to watch them again, and we'll break it all down. Antonio says, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say the first one was an inaccurate throw. The second one, he threw it with too much mustard. I'm not saying it was like a Brett Favre fastball, but he threw it with low arc. He needed to throw that with a high, one of those Russ Wilson drop it in the basket type throws.
Here's the thing on the second one to Pearsall in the end zone. First of all, it's in the end zone, so you're taking away a scoring chance. But, dude, just run it.
Yep.
Or throw it to Kittle, but no risk because you needed a score there to make it a
third down.
Right.
Second down, make the throw to Pearsall. Take that gamble if you want because he was open. I'm not saying force it, but he was open. So second down, you want to do that. 3rd and 6, you got the daylight to get the first down. I don't give a freak what it looks like out there. I don't care if somebody's completely wide open 20 yards down the field. Run it, get the first down. But
it was second
on top of that, was it second? I thought it was 3rd and 6.
I just double checked. It was 2nd and 8 on the Pearsall one.
I would have sworn it was 3rd and 6.
Well,
I must have been way off because when I saw the daylight in front of him, I was like, oh, he's going to run for 6 yards because he had just had that like 8-yard scramble a couple plays before.
Unless ESPN's play-by-play stuff is wrong, which it very well could be, but it was 2nd and 8. But dude, like, just run it. Just run it. And he had another play earlier in the game where he got quick pressure and pulled it down and ran it. And I was like, yes, thank you, Brock. And he didn't do that there. This ESPN graphic says Purdy was better on short passes than stretching the field. 92% he completed on passes shorter than 10 yards, which you probably should. 1 of 8 with 3 picks on throws at least 10 yards down the field. UGLY ugly. Antonio says the score should have looked like 37-9. If Brock played even half decent, I get it. Everyone has bad games. Just don't do it again. And this offense can roll. It's amazing that we're sitting here with them having 3 turnovers and talking about a win that they won by multiple scores, which, I mean, how often does that happen in the NFL in general, let alone 49ers?
One, and we're in control of from the very start. Like that first drive, they got control. They never trailed. Like Carolina never had a possession where they were either tied or up. Every single possession they had, they trailed because the Niners scored on the first drive of the game and Carolina didn't answer.
CL Govo. Sorry, I don't know if that's the right username, but thank you for the super chat. Bourne needs 15 yards for 500K, 0 targets in 2 games. Here's the thing. Kendrick Bourne sucks. So good. He shouldn't get any targets. He's not good. I don't care about his money. He's not good. Just because Kyle schemed up a bunch of plays for him against the Rams doesn't make Kendrick Bourne good. There's a reason the Patriots were like, we think we're better without you. Like, well, I'm not worried about that.
I think he'll get his 15 yards, but I'll say this, like, I think him coming in, he's still the leading wide receiver on the team for the season.
Big
so,
whoop.
Like, I think, he does. You want a late game call his number so that he can get his money. I think he deserves that. But no, he's not. He should not be getting snaps right now.
I don't think you should. No, I don't owe you anything, Kendrick Bourne. Get out of here. James T. Kirk, new YouTube channel member. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And all our YouTube channel members. There's almost 1,000 people watching, more than 1,000. What am I saying? Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We appreciate it. If this is your first time checking us out, we're live after every Niners game. We're live every single weekday. We have daily videos that come out on the YouTube channel in addition to the live shows. Please check us out. Like this video, subscribe, hype it up, tell a friend, all that stuff. We do appreciate it. I want to see what Kyle's going to say after the game. It's funny. We thought our biggest problem coming into the game was Brandon Aiyuk.
I mean, that's still going to be a storyline. Look, the offense as it is, they should have had 30 points in this game. The only thing that kept them from 30 points was their quarterback blowing chunks in the first half. And that's the reality that we have right now with the offense. Every single time they go out, they should score 30 points. Maybe if they play like a team like Philly, okay, maybe 30 points shouldn't be the expectation against like a really good defense, especially defense that can kind of get pressure. And, Vic Fangio is going to come after you. But that's the reality. This offense is, I think, right now, as good as any offense in the league in terms of when they take the field, you 100% should expect them to go down and get points. And, oh, by the way, they have fixed, we haven't really talked about it, but I did notice it a couple weeks ago that they had creeped into the top 10 in red zone touchdown percentage. I was even knowing that they've crept into the top 10. I did not realize that the graphic showed in the first half. I don't know if you caught it. They scored 17 touchdowns on their last 20 red zone possessions. Now that got destroyed a little bit. I think they had one that they didn't get, but but they have become a great red zone team suddenly. The first 4 weeks they struggled. Ever since, they've been as good as it gets.
And last year they struggled too. And historically, Shanahan has struggled there. And it's impressive they're doing it this year because they don't have those, they didn't have Kittle for so much of the year. They didn't have Debo, obviously, anymore. Those guys were cheat codes because they would break 3 tackles and score a touchdown. Kyle Shanahan was asked if he ever considered benching Brock Purdy. He said one word, quote, no. Shanahan said Purdy was late and behind on all 3 interceptions. It happens. Quote, there's no narrative. Kyle, there's a bit of a narrative. The guy can't protect the football. The guy has not even played, and he's, I think is he leading the league in interceptions? It's close. I mean, it's terrible with what he's doing right now.
He's got 7 interceptions. He's nowhere close to the lead in interceptions in the league.
Interceptions per game played.
For sure. He's averaging 1.75. Going off memory here for 3 weeks ago, I think he has as many interceptions as Mac Jones had in 8 games.
I mean, he's not protecting the football. He's just not. There is a narrative there. It's been a bit of a thing for Brock this year. It's got to stop, man. They don't have that margin for error. Let's get to some more super chats. Con JKJ says, I find it funny when they ask Kyle about Christian McCaffrey's touches. He says Christian doesn't want to come off the field. Like Kyle has no control over that. I totally agree. But they have been trying. They've been taking him out more. The problem is when he's in there, he gets the ball every time. Every time. And maybe some of it tonight was Christian's going against his old team, a little petty Kyle Shanahan, maybe Christian was like, hey, load me up tonight. I don't know. But I mean, he gets the ball every freaking play. The first drive, he had 9 touches, 24 carries tonight for 89 yards, 7 catches for 53 yards. Now, I know his yards per carry was really low tonight. On the one hand, you could say that's because Carolina knew he was running every time in the second half because Kyle got scared, but also it's been that low all year. So,
well, I mean, it dropped there right at the end. He was right at 4 yards per carry going into, I think, the last 2 drives. He was, I think, 21 carries for like 84 or 85 yards, which is right at 4 carries. So, one of his better games this season in that regard.
They had some nice runs to the outside in this game. The pitches were actually working. He had a 12-yard touchdown run on the pitch. I was texting you like, I can't believe it. Yeah. Carolina's been struggling with runs to the edge all year. Yeah. So that was good game planning by the Niners. Chris Waddell says, y'all think I'm dumb for saying this, but am I the only one that noticed all year the O-line celebrates with the player, but Trent never does? I think Trent is tired and wants to get off the field. But I haven't noticed that, Chris. Maybe I can go back and look, but I haven't noticed that. And I haven't noticed if it's different than what he's done in the past either.
Yeah, I don't know if it's different than what he's done, and I didn't connect the dots there. But when he said that, I could immediately see multiple offensive linemen celebrating on plays in this game. But I don't remember seeing Trent Williams. But that's probably a whole lot of nothing, to be honest.
Okay, this is a weird. First of all, I'll read the super chat. Same Brock from Iowa State was good his first 2 years, then turned into a turnover garbage can his junior and senior year. Same pattern now. Hoodwinked, he said. Good thing it's not our money. How about this? Barrows tweets, Kyle Shanahan on the below-the-belt shot Juwan Jennings took. Real proud of Juwan for not losing his mind out there and getting to the sideline. Kyle?
He might not be aware that there was a fight at the end.
Maybe he didn't see it.
Assuming, I'm only going off chat, but he got into a fight.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so he's trying to get to somebody, but that's not an actual fight. He didn't get to anybody. He got tackled by his own guys.
Yeah,
he got tackled by his own guys.
But what are you proud of Juwan for, getting tackled by his own guys?
No, he's proud that Juwan got off the field after it happened, rather than going after the play. Okay, so he did get after the guy after the game.
There you go.
So one key point in that, open hand. So it's not a suspension.
And was it when the game was actually? Oh, I guess that probably doesn't matter. But
no. So the league will, when Jalen Carter did it for the Eagles, he did it pregame, and he got tossed, and the league announced they consider that his 1 game suspension since he didn't play any snaps. But it was open hand, so it will be a fine, but not a suspension, or shouldn't be. Now, like I said, if the other player used closed hand, I'm going to have to double check the rules, because the rules I know for a fact do say closed hand to the head or neck area. I don't know if it has anything saying about the nether regions or
not. Carl Garibay says, go read Lombardi's tweet about Brock's interceptions.
It's probably Jimmy-esque.
Yeah.
They were great.
I don't want to. Oh, here we go. Oh my God. So Trey says, Lombardi, the 3 interceptions are a blessing for Brock to help him grow. These 49er homers are pathetic. He's trolling. Now he's just doing it for the engagement. I mean, he knows.
I mean, if that was true, then how come Lombardi continues to have shit tweets and hasn't grown from it over the years?
Yeah, or how come Jimmy Garoppolo isn't awesome by now? I mean, he threw 5 straight picks in practice, right? I mean, he should be.
Hold on. Mike Silver says Jimmy Garoppolo is awesome.
Right. He's got his groove back. Here's
at age 34. He deserves a chance.
Right. Let's listen to Kyle after the game talking about Brock Purdy.
He's had 3 throws he'd love to take back. They're all 3 good decisions. Just a hair late on them. And when you're a hair late on stuff, you can't throw it behind him. And he threw it behind him, and all 3 guys made him pay.
I would agree with that. So that's why Kyle is excusing it to a certain degree. He's saying the read was correct. The throw sucked.
Who cares?
Right. Well, I think there is a difference. If you continue to have bad throws, then eventually you are what you are. But if you're making the right reads and you had some bad throws, there's hope there that, all right, he's making the right reads. He's seeing things correctly. Something is off on his mechanics that we need to fix. That's a lot better than his mechanics are good, but he can't see shit on the field and he keeps throwing picks because he can't read a defense.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter if you have good processing and you're making good reads if your physical skills prevent you from throwing the ball to your teammates. It doesn't matter if he made the right read. The pick still counts. The points don't go on the board because you turn it over. The other team gets the ball. I don't care if he made the right read.
Right. You're looking at one small thing, and I'm looking at future. If you're looking at, should I pull this guy? If he's making the right reads, it's not time to pull him until you have a very long history of him doing this constantly. You don't have that history with Brock yet. So this game, yeah, the interceptions count, and they are 100% on Brock because he made bad throws. But until that is the thing that you see consistently from him, you don't pull him because he's making the right reads. And I think we would both agree the hardest thing to find in a quarterback is one that sees the field correctly.
So someone sent me this tweet, so I haven't verified it, but it'd be really interesting, and it's pertinent to what we're talking about. And we'll get to the super chat. I see it. Thank you so much for that, by the way, in a second. But I don't know if you can see this on the screen. In his last 20 starts, Brock has 23 turnovers, including 19 picks. His interception rate in that stretch is 3.1. 16 of his last 19 interceptions are on first or second down. That 20 games is half of his regular season starts. So is that a small sample or is this a problem?
It's certainly right now a problem, but it's not a problem that I'm benching him for yet.
That sample doesn't include the Nightmare Ravens game in 2023, which is crazy. That's a lot.
What did I say 2 weeks ago when he was coming back? What was my hot take?
I don't know.
I'm not trading Mac Jones.
Oh, I would still trade Mac Jones.
And this is one of the reasons. I'm not trading Mac Jones because I'm not 100% sold Brock can figure this out. He clearly knows this is his problem because he said it in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
But he's still doing it. And maybe this is just the thing that Brock can't stop himself from. And if that is the case, then it's a fatal flaw. It is an Achilles heel. He is not the franchise quarterback we thought he was.
Juwan Jennings finishes his media session. Quote, y'all have a good night. Don't get hit in the nuts. It's good life advice.
The other thing that would improve that quote was don't allow somebody to hit you in the nuts.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael Owens, for the super chat. Appreciate it. That's very generous of you. Michael says, we came in feeling like we need our offense to carry us, and our injured and young defense still has to win it for us. I will say this. Nobody had a better night than Robert Saleh tonight. National.
Brown had 2 interceptions. A guy that's on the border of being like out of a job and not seeing the field got 2 interceptions. I would argue he had a better night.
I don't think so, because who put him in position to succeed? We saw Jair Brown last
year. But Saleh is known as a good quarterback. His reputation, his ability to be somebody that sees the field and be a defensive coordinator is not in question. Brown was very close. Like, we wanted him traded at the deadline, saying we've seen enough, move on.
I think Saleh is the one that put him in position to succeed. We saw what he looked like with Sorensen, and he was terrible. He gets with Robert Saleh. Now he's making interceptions in the end zone.
Did Saleh put him in position to get the interception when he wasn't even covering the guy in the end zone? Or was that just a good read by Brown?
No, that was Renardo Green that got cooked by McMillan on the touchdown.
No, I'm saying the interception in the end zone where Brown broke off from the goal line to get back to the back of the end zone and get the interception when it wasn't even his responsibility. He just read the eyes of Bryce Young. That's not Saleh putting him in the good position. It wasn't his guy. That was him making a 100% good play.
That's the coaching point. He read the quarterback's eyes and dropped back into the throwing window. You can't separate it, man.
Yes, you can. A player can make a great ad-lib play, and that's the player's credit that he gets it. That's not the coach that gets the credit. Maybe the coach had some on it saying, hey, be you, and gave him the confidence, but a player ad-libbing and making a great play is the player's credit.
You can try and couch it all you want. This game didn't make Jair Brown any money. This game might have gotten Robert Saleh a head coaching job after the season. Nationally televised game. All they did was talk about how many people are out for the 49ers defense. Brock Purdy peed down his leg. The Panthers had 3 turnover opportunities. 2 of those possessions began in 49ers territory, and Carolina walked away with 3 freaking points. I maintain nobody had a better night than Robert Saleh.
And I maintain you're wrong.
No. Wouldn't be the first time you made a mistake on the show, so don't worry about it. Yeah. 808 Niners.
Can we go through your picks?
Purdy is a joke. Oh, wow. I'm the first person that's ever gotten picks wrong. By the way, we're hitting 70% of them on the way into the year or into this game. Purdy is a joke. Let's be real. We can find high school kids with stronger arms. That's probably true. His arm is buns. I love that expression. His arm is buns and his decision-making is awful. He's going to look so bad next week and magically his toe will be re-injured. Well, that's the out, Levin. And I tweeted that. The 49ers have an easy out if they want to do a shadow benching of Brock Purdy. All they got to do is say his toe is flared up and he's got to go back to the bench. Mac Jones has had a couple weeks off. His knees had a couple chances to heal up. If the 49ers wanted to make a change, and they love Brock, they love him, but if they wanted to, they have an easy out to save him from a little embarrassment of an outright benching.
You got to have a pretty damn good read on that locker room if you're going to do that. Because if it's you're losing the locker room and you got vets pissed, that's not like you're headed to the playoffs. Like this, like I said, this win makes the 49ers chances of playoffs be 90+%. They need to win 2 out of the next 5 games. They need to go 2-3 to finish to get to 10 wins. And if they get to 10 wins, they are very likely making the playoffs because currently they have the best record against NFC of any NFC team, meaning they have the number 1 tiebreaker for wild cards. Because I think the division, they got a Hail Mary of a chance from your own 30 type Hail Mary. Like not the Hail Mary where you can actually throw it to the end zone, but a Hail Mary where you're doing all the laterals type of Hail Mary. Because you're 2 games back on the Rams, and you also have Seattle to deal with. So that means you got to go 4-1 at minimum. The Rams got to fall apart, and of those 4 wins, one of them's got to be Seattle. It's just not happening. So it comes down to the wild card, and the 49ers are in phenomenal position for the wild card because, like I said, the Bears play Philly. The Green Bay and Lions play each other this week. By the way, that's a Thursday game for the Bears Philly. I think it might. I don't know. That one's Friday, and Thursday is the Lions and Green Bay. So great games there for us to have rooting interest for. Yep. So they play each other, and then the very next week, the Bears play Green Bay, and then 2 weeks later, the Bears play Green Bay again. And then 3 weeks later, the Bears play the Lions. That's why it's like all but guaranteed one of those teams will not get to 10 wins. Like the best case scenario, if you want rooting interest, because I was going through these mental gymnastics all day to kind of figure out who am I actually rooting for in these games on Thursday and Friday. I think the best case scenario, as much as it's going to feel dirty, root for the Eagles to beat the Bears. And then root for Green Bay to beat the Bears twice. Because if that happens, the Bears are then essentially 2 games behind the 49ers for the wild card with only like 3 games to go. So that essentially gets the 49ers in the playoffs.
Gold Rush 6186 YouTube channel member says, bench Brock from one bad game. Come on now. Now, maybe you joined late. You didn't hear what I said. What I said was Kyle can't coach scared. And if Kyle is afraid to let Brock throw the ball, then you can't let Brock be your quarterback. You can't have your quarterback be afraid to throw the ball. It's not that it was one bad game, so you bench him. It was if Kyle tries to do next week what he did in the second half of this game tonight, where no throws over 10 yards, no throws in the middle of the field, they're going to lose because you can't run an offense that way, especially when Christian McCaffrey in the running game can't really run for 4 yards per carry.
Let's be real. That absolutely should be the game plan next week, because if you try to throw the ball over 10 yards, Myles Garrett's getting a sack.
Well, that's the terrifying part about that. He's got literally has more sacks than the entire 49ers team.
Chris Waddle has, 4 games of 3 sacks this season? Like, Myles Garrett's having one of the best all-time seasons.
It's unbelievable. Chris Waddell says, I don't hate Purdy, but he is not that money amount of a player. Kyle has created this production with just about everyone. Get out and try Rourke next year. Yeah, Curtis Rourke, the Maple Missile. I don't think he's going to be taking the job next year, but I hear the sentiment there. Nerdo Loco says, with Brock's toe, a day 2 pick isn't worth it, in my opinion. It would be for me. I don't want Mac Jones to be my quarterback. Now, he's done a good job this year, but I want a better quarterback than Mac Jones. Brock Purdy was that. Now, he didn't play like it tonight. He was that in the past. I have always said I want good quarterbacking. I want good quarterbacking from someone better than Mac Jones. Mac Jones is adequate quarterbacking. We can do better than that. And Kyle should want to do better than that.
Right. I'm not saying Mac Jones, you keep Mac Jones for the long term. It's you keep Mac Jones because, 1, Brock Purdy is getting injured too much. And 2, he can't seem to fix his one problem.
Yep.
And next year is 100% a contending year.
Yes.
So you want the insurance policy. You don't want Brock Purdy and an unknown of Rourke. I don't care what Rourke looks like.
Yeah, I agree.
It's in the off season. I don't care, because you don't know until they get in games. Minnesota thought J.J. McCarthy was the answer. And look at how that's going. So, like, you can't let a competent quarterback go, in my opinion, for the 49ers in a contending season. That's why I want Mac around. If Brock had no injury history, I would say, okay, yeah, go ahead, get rid of Brock. But Brock has had too many injuries. I'm too concerned about him staying healthy. And at the same time, he's having too many games like this game to where I want Mac as an insurance, and I don't know that there's an offer I would be willing to accept.
If your quarterback is Mac Jones, you're not contending. That's my contention.
You can be. It's not likely
I don't
that
think
you're going to win a Super Bowl, but you can contend. Mac Jones it's not the same style of quarterback, but he's Joe Flacco level with Baltimore Ravens.
Whatever. I don't want to get bogged down in a Mac Jones discussion. Carl Garibay says Vikings are desperate. They'll give you a second for Mac easy. I agree. I think it's like, how about this? How about we give you Aiyuk, we give you Mac Jones, and you give us Justin Jefferson? And if we got to throw in a pick to make that happen, let's do that. Would you be on board with that?
No. Probably not.
Levin hates fun. All right, we'll get to these comments from Brock Purdy in just a minute. But first, I just want to remind everybody, check out Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app. Use it to make your picks, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Now, we did not have a good week this week because Brock Purdy kept throwing the damn ball to the other team. But on Fridays, we've been giving you our picks going into the game. We were hitting on 70% of them. So please take a listen, and hopefully we can all win some money together. All you got to do is pick higher or lower on a bunch of different stats, touchdowns, passing yards, things like that. And if you win, like I said, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. So go check it out. And for a limited time, if you just sign up, you'll get a free $20 entry. So just sign up. Don't even deposit any money, and you can still have some fun. If you want to deposit money, please do it with us and use our code GSP. You'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, let's get to Brock Purdy. First, was the toe an issue? No, he said it's fine. It feels good. It's seeing the play develop and letting it rip at the end of the day. It had nothing to do with my toe. I don't believe him. Also, he said...
I think his mechanics are off. If I had to guess, he's not quite stepping in the way that he's used to.
Brock also said of the 3 picks, the decisions I was fine with, the execution of throwing a better ball. I need to drive them more and kept them in the air on multiple of them. Yeah, no crap, dude. Why would you? Did you really think those floaters were going to get there? I mean, come on. He's been playing in the league long enough. He should know what throws he can make and what throws he can't make.
I think he can make those throws. He's not making them currently, and I think it's because he is not stepping and pushing off that foot like he usually would.
Well, whatever.
Get that super chat up there because I laughed at it while you were doing the sleeper read.
Oh, let's see. Mike UA says pair of game balls to Juwan Jennings. Yeah, apparently, man. Like that's, you know what? Juwan Jennings got to experience what it was like watching this game as a fan. That's exactly what it was like, Juwan.
I wouldn't go that far. The Niners literally never trailed, but I definitely was not having fun.
Oh, it was a white knuckle pucker fest. I mean, every time it felt like Jimmy Garoppolo. Every time Brock Purdy dropped back to pass, I was like, oh dear God, just don't throw it to the other team. I don't care. 2-yard gain, great, awesome. No turnover, that's all I'm hoping for. Great. Now hopefully we can run it the next play. That's all I was basically hoping for after halftime.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't wrong to feel that way. I don't know that I felt 100% that way. I was getting close to it, though. I was far enough down that road that I was watching Brock's, I couldn't see his eyes, but where he's looking and going, is he looking deep? And then I would get dread. But as long as he wasn't looking at somebody deep, I didn't have the dread.
To be fair, Brock never should have thrown 3 interceptions because Christian McCaffrey's fumble, I don't know how the Panthers did not recover that thing. It was kicking down the field where there are no 49ers players because it's 10 yards down the field, and they couldn't pick that thing up, and Colton McKivitz dove on it, and then like 2 plays later, Brock threw a pick anyway. The Panthers are a mess. What were they doing, Levin? They score the touchdown. They get the PAT. The Niners commit the penalty to put the ball on the 1-yard line, and then they line up, and Carolina lines up in the shotgun, and they throw it. Like, you're on the 1-yard line. You're going for it because you're so close to the end zone. How
and
are
you have Dowdle.
Or sneak it, whatever. But when they lined up in the shotgun, I was like, thank you, Carolina.
Well, I will say Bryce Young actually sucks at sneaks because he is a
tiny.
Yeah, he doesn't have the, you have tiny quarterbacks like Brock. Brock's pretty good at sneaks. Why? Yeah, he's a smaller quarterback, but lower body. He's got strong legs, and that's what QB sneaks are more about. QB sneaks aren't about being 6'5". It's about having the leg strength to drive, and even if you get hit, be able to fall forward for a yard.
Brock Purdy does have the leg strength. We know that. Brock may have some physical limitations. Leg strength is not one of them. He's got those Bosa thighs, man. They call him Baby Bosa for a reason. Carlo Garibay says, Carlo, sorry, I think I've been calling you Carl. That's my bad, Carl. Carlo says, will Christian McCaffrey's second 1,000 season get him into the Hall of Fame?
No.
Maybe.
It won't. Well, hold on. This season will not get him into the Hall of Fame. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a chance at the Hall of Fame. But what he's going to need to get into the Hall of Fame is a productive age 30, 31, and 32 season.
This comment says Brock should throw the ball with his legs. That is very well done. Shanahan, here, you know what? Why don't we just listen to this together instead of me just reading the quote? Sorry, I'll go back to the beginning.
A lot of credit to the defense for keeping, the Carolina Panthers from scoring. What did you think of Jair Brown? Because he had a pretty strong performance throughout.
He was awesome. Thought, see more on the tape, but it felt like his best game as a Niner. He's been playing at high level here for a while, but those 2 picks were huge, and looked like he made a number of good tackles.
Robert Saleh putting his guy in position to succeed.
Sure.
Good for Jair Brown, man.
Yeah.
He was
all wanted him traded.
Yeah, he was awful. He makes the pick. I mean, if Carolina scores after the first Brock interception and it's 7-7, the whole game is different. Yeah. And instead of them getting a field goal or just something to keep it a 1-score game and keep the pressure on the Niners, they completely let Brock Purdy off the hook.
Yeah, I mean, this game could have easily gone a completely different path. The Niners could have gone up 7-0, and then you have an interception, Carolina touchdown, interception, Carolina touchdown. I think the game completely changed because I think what happens then is Carolina goes, "Hey, we're up. We're going to run the ball." And I don't think the Niners would have been able to win this game if Carolina was feeding Dowdle. I think Dowdle would have been able to run against this team.
If Carolina was a functional organization, I said coming into this game that Carolina was not a bad team. They're a mid team. I think I might have to downgrade them. I mean, my God, what kind of team takes those turnovers in that part of the field, multiple turnovers in the other team's territory, and gets squatangul, as they say in my family, out of it?
Yeah, Carolina's a team that if they play the Giants, they can win. If they play, the Raiders, they can win. They're the team that will beat bad teams. But when they play an actual good team that knows what they're doing, they get exposed because they're not there yet. I'm not convinced they're well coached. I think the jury is still out in regards to that coaching staff. Bryce Young, the jury is out. He sucks. And I think the defense is just not anything. Like there's nobody on that defense that's like, now that's the guy that they can build the defense around. So they need a defense and they need a quarterback. When you need a quarterback and a defense, you're not a very good team.
I will say that dude threw for 400 plus yards last week, man. The
He's
NFL
had a couple big games in his career.
Carlo Garibay also points out, too, we should give a shout out to Nick Martin. Making tackles on special teams, force a fumble. Like, can we just see this guy in the field consistently from now on? But like, you were desperate to keep him off the field because he couldn't contribute on special teams. He made a bunch of tackles on special teams now that he's been playing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, okay, if he can do this on special teams, why was he the one that was inactive?
Right.
Because usually you inactive the player, and regardless of position, the player who amongst the backups isn't capable of producing on special teams.
Right.
Because if you're a backup, you better do something on special teams. Well, he's barely played special teams, but in this game, he certainly got a lot of run on special teams, and he had 2 tackles that I know of for sure, plus the forced fumble. I want to say it was 3 tackles, but I'm not 100%. I haven't looked at the box score to confirm. But he certainly looks capable on special teams, so why wasn't he being dressed to where, all right, you can give him 5 plays or so as a linebacker in the game, and then he plays special teams.
Nick Martin credited with 2 tackles in the game, 2 solo tackles, which is fine, whatever. Shout out to Cleveland Farrell getting a sack on Bryce Young. That sack, by the way, showed me how little Bryce Young is because Cleveland Farrell did not really even get a solid hit on him, and Young went right down. I was like, oh, that
he's a twig.
Yeah, he is not. And like when you see Russell Wilson in person, Russell Wilson is thick. Like he's not super tall, but he is wide. Bryce Young is not that. So, yeah. Carlos says, did Huff play? I thought Huff did some good things. He got some pressures in the game. A couple quarterback hits as well. Leave Huff alone. He's the best we got.
He would have had a sack, but he got held. That was very early in the game. And then he had, I think, 2 other plays where he forced Bryce Young off his spot. Now, one of those was the one that Young escaped and was able to scramble for like 1 yard. And Aikman correctly called it out that Huff should have gone on the back shoulder of Young so that Young's escape was stepping up. But instead, he went to the inside where Young was able to just go right around him and then get to the outside.
He was sack hunting. He was trying to get the sack. And
he was sack fumble hunting. He was thinking he was about to get a blindside, blow him up type of sack.
Which, I kind of like understand because they're so desperate to get one. And he's like, if we get one, that might be the difference. Like this thing might be over, but instead, now luckily Young is also not fast. So it didn't matter that he broke contain and got out of the gate because he's just not fast. But here we go. We have played 12 games. The 49ers have won 8 of them. They are currently the 7th seed in the NFC because everybody they needed to lose won this week. So they didn't gain ground.
I was so frustrated yesterday.
I know.
I almost texted you. I actually picked up the phone at one point. I was like, nah, I'm not going to bother him. Because I was like, dude, if these games hold, this is a perfect Sunday. Because Kansas City was down, and I want to see them not make the playoffs. Just being honest. The Lions were down by 10 points. and I'm trying to remember the Bears were down to who were they playing? I don't remember. But they were down as well, and all three of them made comebacks to win.
Yeah, it was infuriating. By the way, ESPN has the shot of the shot, so to speak. You'll see it when the video restarts. It was, woo. We were saying before, boy, that really looks intentional. Yeah, it was really intentional. Let me just go back. Here you go. Bam.
Oh yeah, so that should be a 100%. You're suspended for at least a game.
Yep, that's got to be a suspension.
And yeah, 100%. I don't blame Jennings.
No,
somebody hits me like that, I'm coming for him. Like, I don't care. Nick Bosa could hit me like that. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to get my butt whooped, but I'm not going to take it.
Well, then what good is that going to do you?
You get hit in the nads, and it's not like instant rage.
I'm not saying you should be happy about it, but you can be unhappy and mad without starting a fight. That's the only thing I'm saying.
That's like instant. The fight is already started. You get spit on like Chase did to Ramsey. It's not Ramsey starting the fight. The fight has already started. Getting punched in the nads on purpose is somebody smacking you across the face with the gloves saying the duel is already on.
Kyle Shanahan literally said Juwan took a cheap shot and got hit in the balls. Can't wait to cut that one up later. Thank you, Kyle Shanahan. This is the game that keeps on giving, by the way. Last super chat here before we go. Orad says, not feeling too good about the Browns game. Here's the thing, though, right? Last week, what were we saying? Brock is back, 40 points, touchdown city. Here comes the offense. We're great. Tonight, they stunk. The offense was not good because of the quarterback. Next week, maybe we feel a whole different way.
Like I said, if Kyle struggles against Jim Schwartz again, and I'm not saying 30 points, but if they can't even get to 20 points, Jim Schwartz should 100% be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
I mean, you're not wrong. We got another super chat. Khan, thank you very much. This is very generous of you. Appreciate it. YouTube channel member Khan JKJ says, Aiyuk was voided way back in July. Did he really mess up that bad, or did they do that to put some kind of pressure on him? The Jay Glazer yesterday made it seem like it's all on him and he still has a chance to play. Here's the thing. First of all, Jay Glazer is very close to John Lynch. So just take that with a grain of salt when him saying, well, if Aiyuk does everything he needs to do, it's all on him. It's all on him. Here's what I think happened. I think that Aiyuk wanted to go his own way with the rehab because he did not trust the 49ers medical team. I think the 49ers, Tim Kawakami said the 49ers may have put some stuff in the contract about the rehab and you know, if you get injured, you got to do X, Y, and Z, particularly with the eye on if he doesn't do those things, we have grounds to void the money. And I think the 49ers said, hey, BA, we want you to do this with the injury stuff. BA said, pound sand. It's my body. I don't trust you guys. I'm doing what I want. Niners said, if you do that, we're going to void your money. And BA said, well, I'm going to fight it. Unless, or somebody suggested this, maybe it wasn't BA, but I think that the trade-off was we're voiding your money, and in exchange, we will cut you and you will get to pick your next team next year. And I think that's why Brandon Aiyuk is letting $25 million just completely disappear because he doesn't care about the money. He wants to be gone. He wants his freedom. That's why he didn't fight it. I think that's what happened.
It's entirely possible that's why he's not fighting it. I think there's more there than just the rehab. And Kyle said it takes a lot of different things. And it's not just one thing. So I think that, yes, the rehab is the main part, and Glazer said that. My guess is that he probably refused to allow the 49ers to evaluate him. You know what I mean? Like he was supposed to report back. I'm sure even if you don't rehab with the 49ers doctors, you still have to come in every so often so they can check you out to see where you're at.
Well, he was coming in for rehab, according to Barrows. In the morning, he would come in. Now, what he let I don't know, but that's what Barrows said. So just pointing out.
There's no way that him saying, I'm following this rehab that is from a doctor and recommended, and they say, no, you must follow ours, we're voiding your contract. There's no way that that's all there is.
I have no idea, but I know the 49ers have been desperate to find a way out of that contract. And I know they don't care about cap hits. They care about saving cash. And this is going to save Jed York some cash. So that's where we are. Like, he's not coming back this year. What take down this stupid facade? He is not coming back this year. What?
I was shocked reading that, and I started thinking about it. I was like, I feel like that is the 49ers are sending that out there so that they can tell other people, like, look, it wasn't us. We wanted him to come back and play for us. We didn't say he couldn't play for us. We wanted him to be there. We weren't standing in the way of a player being able to come play once he was healthy. He stayed away from us.
There is another side of this, and you said it when we were doing the instant reaction Friday night when this broke. We haven't heard Brandon Aiyuk's side. All this stuff is all spin from the 49ers. There's another part of this. I wouldn't be shocked if Brandon Aiyuk gave somebody an interview or talked to somebody, or his team talks to
after he's released. I'm guessing once he's released and signed with a new team, there'll be a sit-down interview.
Well, but even before that, maybe he'll go on with Brad again. Remember, he was on with Brad Graham on his channel. Maybe it'll be him, or they'll talk to Josina Anderson or somebody. But we're going to get the other side of this eventually. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's not till he's released, just because the Niners, because Aiyuk doesn't want to jeopardize the thing. Because here's the thing. Aiyuk is under contract. They voided the money, but he's still under contract. The Niners don't have to cut him after the year. So you can't really tick the Niners off if you're Brandon Aiyuk, because then you're out the money, but you're still in a place you don't want to be.
I mean, there's potential that he got something in writing that they will release him as a fallback in case they try to say, well, hold on, now he's cheap. We don't want to get rid of him.
I don't know, because I don't know if you can. I don't know what the case is. All I know,
you know what I mean? Some kind of like on videotape or something, like a verbal agreement to where, okay, now it's maybe by NFL rules, he doesn't have to be released, but legality is they said something that would be binding in a court of law to where, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't want to speculate on that one way or another. Frisbee Life says,
all we're doing is speculating, even with the info that's out there.
Well, but
it's speculation because, like you said, we have one side of the story.
I don't know about what agreements in terms of legally and being on tape were there, but I talked to a couple people, and basically you have like a window of like 45 or 50 days to fight the voiding of the money, and once you do, that's it. Like, you miss your window. You can't like just say at any time, oh, now I'm going to fight it. No, that's not how it works. Frisbee Life says, Rob, it's time to slide into Aiyuk's DMs for that scoop. So yeah, something tells me he's probably not going to be very active on the old Twitter machine. By the way, I saw 2 tweets tonight back to back that were absolutely perfect. Jason, oh, here it is. I'll throw it up on the screen because this was after Brock Purdy was, in the middle of his nightmare game. Jason Aponte, I picked a hell of a week to quit drinking. Kyle Madsen. Brock picked a hell of a week to start. Right after another one-on-one on my timeline. That made me smile on a night that, offensively, at least we didn't have a lot to smile about. But the Niners get their win nonetheless. 8 victories on the season for the 49ers. There is only one team, with all the good teams in the NFC, there is only one team that has more wins than the 49ers, and that is the Rams, who the 49ers have already beaten. So let's take solace in that.
Let me ask this question, and I know we got time to figure it out, but it was a thought that I was having because, like I said, I was going through the mental gymnastics of trying to figure out, okay, where do the 49ers stand on the wild card with the remaining games if they win this game? And I found myself thinking, well, hold on. Do I actually want to be the highest ranked wild card, or do I want to be the lowest ranked wild card? Because if you're the highest ranked wild card, well, I guess you would end up having the NFC, what would it be, NFC South. But I was thinking second round, would I rather play Philly or would I rather play the Rams? And I feel like I would rather play Philly because I think with the 49ers injuries, there's no question Philly's the more talented team and the Rams are the more talented team. As it stands now, other things can happen between now and this playoff game. But when you play a team multiple times, the difference in talent is easier to show itself. So I'd rather play the team that I'm playing for the first time than the team I'm playing the third time.
Well, and not only that, but the Eagles have the ability to just completely self-sabotage and implode. And they disappear for quarters and halves at a time. The Rams don't do that. The Mitchell Lease says, can we please just stop with the Brock Purdy isn't fully healthy? It has nothing to do with it. I like college ball. This has always been him. You need to start accepting it, 49ers fans. It wasn't him when he first got to the NFL, though.
Yeah.
It's becoming him. And that's the concerning part.
Yeah. I mean, what he said this offseason, I think when he gets a chance to reflect on the bye week, he needs to have a come to Kyle Shanahan Jesus moment of, all right, when I first got in, I said it this offseason, I was just doing what Kyle told me, and it worked. And then I started trying to do some extra stuff, and it's not working. So I'm going to shelve that for the time being. Maybe at some point I try to think I can go there again. But right now, this season, not needed. I'm just going to do whatever the F Kyle tells me to do and take myself out of the equation.
Here's the thing, Levin. He had the whole offseason to say that and recalibrate and do that.
Right,
and
but he said he needed to mirror the two. A little less of the forcing, but still be aggressive and have the ad lib where he's scrambling and get back to just doing what the offense dictates that he should be doing. Like, he wanted to mirror the two and combine them and have the best of both worlds, and it's clearly not working. So maybe he just needs to say, all right, screw the ad-libbing one. I'm just going to do what the play tells me to do, and if it's not there, I'm going to try to run.
But he's not getting in trouble because he's ad-libbing scrambling. He's getting in trouble because he's not the throws that he's making he throws too good of a catchable ball. Damn it. The problem is the interceptions or the defense is the one that's catching it.
But is the play designed to go there? Or is it something Brock sees pre-snap and says, well, First Read's supposed to be here, but I like the way the defense is setting up, and I'm going to try to go deep. We don't know.
He's had all offseason to fix it. He said he knows what the problem is. He's correct. He's identified the problem. Step one of fixing a problem is identifying and admitting there is a problem. He's done that. The problem is he's like somebody that has food issues, right? When they eat, they know they're not hungry, but they drive by the McDonald's and they just can't stop themselves from getting the fries and the shake. Like, you know what the problem is.
Why are you going to talk about me? This isn't about me.
You know what the problem is. You know you shouldn't have the fries and the shake. You're not hungry, but your brain, it's part of your brain chemistry now. It makes you want it, and you can't resist it. I feel like he can't resist these throws. He just can't help himself. He knows what the problem is. He just can't stop doing it.
He just can't quit them.
He's got the Jameis disease. He's got Jameis Winston disease, and
he's not quite there. Jameis threw 30 interceptions in a season.
Well, Brock Purdy has played 4 games this year, and he has 7 interceptions. What's that over a full season?
Well, yeah, that would put him on pace for
it ain't great.
Right at 30.
That's what I'm saying. He's got the Jameis disease.
But it's 4 games, so calm.
We'll see. We will see. Still,
I see people wanting a kicker update. I've seen it 3 or 4. What update? Matt Gay made 2 field goals, both under 50 yards. Like, what's the update?
Kicker update. Matt Gay's not terrible. We
don't know that. It was 2 easy kicks, and
that's why they got him, though. I think they were like, yeah, he can't kick the long ones, but he's good under 50, and that's the way we'll use him. And good for him. He came through, and they were kicking the ball in the end zone too. I don't think that was an accident. I think that was just screw it. Kick it in the end zone. Carolina sucks. We'll take away the kickoff return, and we'll deal with that. Chris Waddell says, I want that LA Rams home game. So, yeah, here it is real quick. If the season ended today, the 49ers would play the Eagles in the wild card round. The Rams have the bye. The Eagles are the 2. So they would play the Niners because the Niners are the 7 seed. That means the Bears would play the Packers and the Bucks would play the Seahawks. Now, right now, Green Bay is ahead of the Niners because they have that stupid tie. So they're 7-3-1 while the Niners are 8-4. So, there could be
here's the other thing. One of the Bears and Green Bay, and it could end up being both, but one of those two is guaranteed to be behind the 49ers as long as the 49ers beat Cleveland next week, because or in 2 weeks.
Even if they tie?
Even if they tie, Green Bay would be behind them because 2 ties does not equal 1 win. But the win percentage is lower. If you have a tie, your win percentage is slightly lower than having.
I thought a tie was a half a win and a half a loss.
This has come up before. A tie is not exactly equal to 1-1, but now I'm second guessing myself on whether a tie is better than 1-1 or worse.
Yes, anytime I could make you unsure of yourself.
I can't remember now, but 2 ties I'm almost certain would be worse than the 1-1. Plus, they would have less wins because the Niners wouldn't have had their bye week, and that would be the week that the Niners are having their bye week. But the point is that the Bears and Green Bay play each other twice still.
Right.
Plus, the Lions are playing Green Bay this year, and Philly is playing the Bears. There is a very, very good chance that going into the bye week, the Niners are ahead of all 3 of those teams.
Maybe the luck will turn. Could we have that, please? We got one more game against Cleveland in Cleveland, early body clock game for the Niners. Then we get the bye, and then it's Tennessee.
Yeah.
They have put themselves in a position to have 10 wins going into the toughest remaining part of their schedule, which is in Indy, home against the Bears, home against Seattle. That's where they are. For all the Brock Purdy issues, for all the issues, the injury issues, everything. They are in position to get exactly where we hoped they would get this season, and we will be here with you the whole way, riding it out, good, bad, or ugly. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave your Brock Purdy thoughts. Do you want Brock Purdy benched? Leave it in a comment below. I'm sure we'll be talking about that all week this week, so we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel again, and give us a chance if this is your first time checking us out. We're live after every Niners game. I promise you, you will like what you see. Enjoy the rest of your Victory Monday, everybody. We'll talk tomorrow.